10 o'clock news, this is Alan King.
The Continental jingle to start the show at 3.5 minutes past 10. Busy day today. I've been all the way up to Ulverston, had a look round Ulverston Market and round the shops in Ulverston, and then I came back and had a look around the shops in Preston. I'll do incidentally to Pauline, Blair and Ron's mum, who I met in Marks and Spencer's Preston this afternoon. But as I say, I've trekked around the county looking for a present for Prince Andrew on his forthcoming wedding, but it's so difficult. I mean, what do you buy for the man who's had everybody?
Centro. Capture the space age with satellite TV at Centro. Satellite demonstrations daily at Centro, Dixon Road, Blackpool and Ainsworth Street, Blackburn. See how a satellite receiver brings films and programmes from the UK, Europe and America direct to your TV, giving you a viewing choice like you've never had before. And Centro give you the licence. It's the biggest step forward in home entertainment since TV itself. Evening demonstrations 6 till 9 every Thursday at Dixon Road, Blackpool and every Friday at Ainsworth Street, Blackburn.
Your money goes further at Central.
The world of satellite TV is plain to see at Central.
Come along to the centre.
Come along this Saturday to the Centre, Preston's brightest, newest multi-trade home centre, to be officially opened at midday by Red Rose Radio's Paul Fairburn.
Morning, Paul.
The fun starts at 10:30 and there'll be prizes to win throughout the day. Be there this Saturday at the Centre.
Come along to the centre.
Next to Power City and Decorate in Preston.
It's the only place to go.
Well, we're all remarkably busy this weekend. For example, Paul, as you just heard, is at the Trade Centre tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm at David Taylor Carr's in Blackburn, and Sally Moon's at David Taylor Carr's around about 2:30, because she's got a little programme to do just before that. She'll be there around about 2:30. I'll be there from 12. Stuart Hall will be there sometime during the day. I'm not sure when, but he'll be there. And the dreaded Stuart. Come and have a look at his paint on tan. No, it's not. It's burnt on with one of those lamps, you know. Not with a 10-foot barge pole. Please wish me, Sharon Howarth of Wigan, a happy birthday on Friday. My birthday's on Saturday, really, and I'll be 16. How do? An happy birthday. P.S. Did you know that the Queen visited Wigan today? Something you lot should do. You're absolutely right. We ought to get to Wigan more often than we do. We should try our best in the future. Does that satisfy your demands, Sharon? Actually, I think I might do a Beswick at large in Wigan one day. Still, trouble is they'll throw pies at me. I bet they would. Anyway, would I also say hello to Jill, Vicky, Lorna, Lisa, Kath, and of course, once again, Sharon, who has for herself her 16th birthday. Oh, come on, I'm allowed to be a bit romantic, can't I? A bit emotional. I'm overcome with it all. Michael Roscoe's written in. He lives in Bryn, which is also in the Wigan vicinity, to be honest. He lives at Grange Road. And he said, I'm writing to say I think your show's fab. Fab? Fab, for God's sake. How often does one get described as fab in one's life? Never again, I hope. If you mean fabulous, feel free, but fab? I am not an abbreviation, truncated with me short fat legs I may be, but I am not an abbreviation! For crying out loud. Say I'll do to Neil Latham, Mark Robinson, and anyone who knows him. The him we're on about, of course, is the Michael Roscoe we mentioned at the beginning. He also wants me to say I'll do to everyone at Cansfield High School in Ashton. The Ashton on this occasion, I suspect, is under Lyme, as opposed to within Preston. Or any of the other Ashtons that are dotted around. We've got a lot of Ashtons, we have. There's a veritable bundle of the blessed things. Richard Quinn. Is he the mighty one? From Appleton. Appleton, Warrington. How lovely. A letter from Appleton. I feel honoured. He's even written it in one of those liquid ink pens. But he would, wouldn't he, from Appleton, for crying out loud. You're not allowed in Appleton with anything less than a 3-litre Granada. And biros, they're just not permitted. I'm listening. No, I'm not. I'm writing. I'm writing to enquire if you would please give Mike Webster, Sarah Quinn, Rachel Quinn and myself, Richard, a mention on your programme. We always listen to your show. Could you also send us a price list? Oh dear. Price list. Never mentioned that. Haven't done that at all. I don't know what price list. There we go. And do you know the address of Central Television? Yes, I'm sure I must do. Somewhere. Why do you want the address of Central Television? There's no jobs.
Blackburn Camping Centre. Early season clearance sale is now on.
Well, don't the donkeys. I don't know why. I'm sure it's better than standing in a field all day with bog all to do. But they do. They look so miserable. Still, donkeys are miserable, aren't they? Bad-tempered little buggers, if the truth be known. I think your show is triple ace, super cool, totally fantastic and mega wonderful. You're not one for going over the top, are you, Stephen? I'm an avid listener, so please could you say a big hi to the librarians at Collegiate High School in Blackpool. That is to say, me being Stephen Luke, and, oh no, not Luke, but Luby, as in, here we go, Luby, no, perhaps not. Me, Ken, Mike, Ruth, Nick, Mrs. B, and the sixth form Sarah. Well, who am I to argue with such a quest from the heart? Got one here from the Holf, which is in Boughton. Wardle Street. I suppose we're back down the nether regions, aren't we? Well, no, we're nether and easterds. South-south-east of here, I suppose 'tis. Anyway, can you say I'll do to everyone at 3P, at George Toms, plus Josh Faz, me, Dave Vaniken, then every Bolton Wanderers fan? Well, let's face it, I could have actually shook hands with every Bolton Wanderers fan without too much trouble. Neil Jones of Wardle Street in Bolton. Newburgh, or Newborough, as some would have us say it. Another one near Wigan. We seem to have stitched up Wigan for reasons that I can't understand. I wrote to you last week saying that I had written a letter in the middle of the 4th year physics exam. You threw a blep. What in heaven is a blep? However, I threw one. I got 1% over the class average in that exam. I'm writing this letter in a golf lesson. A golf lesson? A golf lesson? What is my taxis going on? This guy's having a pigging golf lesson. By Jove, that was exciting.
Ring him if you dare.
And the lines are open now on Preston 561000.
Carpets. Red ones, green ones, yellow and blue. We've got the carpets just for you.
We're underway. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Alan. I'd like to talk about microwave.
New and used cars, look no further than Barker's. Right now, up to 150 used cars are in stock and ready to drive away. From an incredible £100 to £10,000. Ask about our special low-rate finance offer on the award-winning Fiat Uno. You can't beat Barker's for the best deal in Fiat. Barker's Fiat, King Street, Blackburn. Phone Blackburn 52981. People buy better at Barker's.
Barker's Blackburn, the Fiat.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
When McDonald's decided to make a hamburger so big, it would be a meal in itself, we said it had to be made from 100% pure lean beef, with no additives, flavoring, preservatives, or coloring. It was a tall order, but we made it.
At McDonald's, it's Big Mac time for you.
Are you hungry enough for a Big Mac?
There's fun for everyone Good Friday and Easter Saturday at St George's Shopping Centre, Preston. We're open this Good Friday for the first time ever, and we're celebrating with a super kiddies clown on Friday morning. On Easter Saturday, we've exciting fashion shows, and with parking for 450 cars, you can drive to the fun at St George's Centre, Preston.
So come on down, 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 down to St. George's Centre.
How do Diane? How do Christopher?
Hello, Alan.
Go to bed. How do Mark? Hello, Martin. Goodbye. Ring me back when you understand how the system works. I haven't got all day to wait for Pratt. Hello, George. Hello, Josh.
Hello, Alan.
What do you want?
I'd like to talk about bins, please.
Come on.
I think he's a monkey.
I'm sorry?
I think he's a monkey.
He probably is. If he knows you, he must be an idiot. How do George?
He was on. Hello?
Hello? Go to bed. You're too young. Hello, Peter.
Oh, Alan, good evening. During a shopping trip this afternoon, I was trying to buy some electrical goods from a shop that was supposed to be having a sale. When I got the serial number off the machine in question, I then went to another shop to try and find out if there were parts available for it, and found that the machine that was supposed to be being sold in a sale was actually over 5 years old, but still purporting to be brand new on the shelves. Is it not time that some of these shops, or in fact all shops, were restricted to the number of sales that they could actually have a year, and that the equipment that was being sold should actually register the actual number of times, you know, when it was actually
Nick,
made?
can I ask you a very simple... sorry, Peter, can I ask you a very simple question? What do you think should happen to the products that the shops don't sell within the time scale you're going to put on them?
Well, I mean...
What should happen? It's a simple enough question,
Yeah.
Peter. What do you think should happen to the products that do not sell within the time scale that you'd like to see put upon them?
Originally, what used to happen, of course, is that...
Well, tell me what you think would happen now, Peter. It's a simple enough question.
Were sold in a sale, weren't they?
Well, they are doing now. You were at a sale today, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't, Alan. I mean, if you
You
look
said purporting to be a sale.
Yeah, but if you look
Well, it was a sale, you garmless dog. That is what you wanted to happen. That was happening. Go away. Hello, Nick.
Hello, Alan.
What do you want?
I'd like to talk about Wrexham Football Club, please.
Wrexham Football Club?
Playing Chester tomorrow.
Who cares? Get a pair of boots, get down there, you'll probably get a game. Let's face it, the garmless prats they've got playing at the moment are no good. Hello, Mike. He's gone. Hello, Lee. He's gone as well. Hello, Mike, on line what? 3, 2? Thank you very much, Alice. Hello, Mike.
hello,
I knew we'd get you eventually. What do you want?
I'd like to talk about restaurants.
Well?
Well, I went to the restaurant the other day with my family.
That's a singular. You said you want to talk about them in plural.
Pardon?
Seems you want to talk about a specific restaurant.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, we ordered a meal, and it came served, and...
I'm not waiting all day while you keep saying it came like divvy. Hello, Mandy.
Hi, Alan. I'd like to talk about underage sex. I don't know why a man can get done for having sex with a girl underage when they can be given the pill without the parents' consent. What do you think of that?
The two are connected for the act, but the two pieces of information are not in any way related.
Sorry? I don't know what you mean.
Well, in that case, you're not mature enough to hold the conversation.
I am.
Good. Then let me say to you that just because it is illegal to have sex doesn't mean to say, under the age of 16 of course, doesn't mean to say that we should not protect against worse complications and ramifications than those that could be administered by law.
I know, but that's not the point.
What do you mean, you
Everybody
Denzel?
should know that...
What do you mean
girl
that's
is
not the point? That is the point.
It's not.
If a young girl under the age of 16
Yeah.
is having intercourse with a man, that man is breaking the law. But just because it's illegal doesn't mean that she won't conceive.
I know, but I mean...
But the pill is against, or contraception is to prevent conception. It is not a doctor's job to administer the law. It is a doctor's job to protect his patients from harm in the best way, or sometimes the only way, available to him or her.
Right.
It seems you have nothing else to say. Hello, Den. Bye, Den. Not waiting for you. How do, Scylla?
Hello, Alan, it's Scylla here.
Is it begun? I think
Yeah.
your programme's crap.
And we've got a lot of fun for you. I'm going to sing you a Scyllagram, Alan.
Oh, you began.
I wonder if you can tell me who the smashing lady who sang this was. Something tells me something's gonna happen tonight.
Sandy Shaw. I'll do Philip. Goodbye, Philip. I'll do line 8 after the break.
Hello, I'm Graham Earnshaw from Earnshaw Sweet Centre.
Alan?
Yeah.
I've rung up over there, Alan.
Well, you've rung up now. What do you want now?
Hang on, well, over there, you hung up on me, and you said...
I'm hanging up on you now because you won't get on with it. Hello, Denny.
Hello?
What do you want?
How big's the knob on your head?
My nose is quite normal sized. How do Dawn?
Alan?
Yes?
Right, you know people call you fat and ugly?
Yes, of course I know.
Well, I'd just like to say that I think you're absolutely gorgeous.
And then you're obviously either blind or stupid. Hello, David.
Hello?
Yes?
I'd like to buy Burnley Football Club, but how much is
Well,
it to
feel
sell?
free. Well, the truth of the matter is I don't know, but the shares are being sold at £15 each. But you require already to hold shares because it's a rights issue, and you're entitled, if you do hold shares, to buy 5 for 1. I bet you didn't know I'd know the answer to that. Hello to someone whose name I've forgotten on line 4. Rudolph. No wonder I forgot it.
Alright, Rudolph here. I want to talk about this problem. See, when I was born, I was christened this ridiculous name of Rudolph. And just like, I don't know what I can do about it to change my name.
Unfortunately, technically, it's virtually impossible to change your Christian name.
Is it?
Yes.
So I can't do nothing about it?
Virtually, no.
Smoke pot, you fat git.
Why? Won't change your name, will it, Rudolph? If I was named after a reindeer, I suppose I'd be a prat as well. Hello, Derek.
Hello, Al.
Do you want?
You know, taking off the radio, it's illegal.
Yes, I do, thank you. But it's nice of you to tell me. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Alan. I'd like to talk about the violence in South Africa today.
Well, go on.
Well, don't you think the British government...
That's a question.
Pardon?
That's a question. You said you'd like to talk about it. Talk,
Oh,
don't ask
sorry,
questions.
Well, I think the British government should start taking action and
For
try
instance?
to help. Because obviously...
What action?
Well, take some embargo on South Africa and show that they are helpful, that they want change there.
OK. That's your point of view. You're entitled to hold it. It's news time.
The 11 o'clock news, this is Alan King.
At Greenham Common, then allow me to tell you, you are either stupid, misled, or not worth a conversation. Now, which of those 3 categories would you like to be in, or would you choose neither?
Okay, carry on, Alan.
Do you believe there is nuclear weaponry at Greenham Common? Do you believe it is designate as nuclear weaponry?
Okay, I believe there are weapons at Greenham Common.
Thank you. So, if the Americans choose to fire a weapon from Greenham Common, it is de facto that we would then, the nation that hosted that weapon, be in nuclear conflict with another country. But that decision would have been made in America. How does that bear out with your desire for Britain to be independent and collective? Because when you say collective, you surely mean we should all have the decision as to whether we go to war collectively. That is not the case with the current nuclear structure in our country.
But,
Yes, but what?
Because of our position in the world, we're an obvious target for a Soviet attack.
We may well be an obvious target for a Soviet attack. I actually don't entirely agree with that, because we don't have a great deal that would be of use to Russia. However, let's just assume for the purpose of this conversation we are an obvious target. I could accept on that basis that it was a good argument, just on that basis incidentally, that it was a good argument for us to have a nuclear weapon. What I want you to consider, and you appear to not be able to answer, is do you think America should have the right to send Britain to nuclear oblivion for its defence? And by it, on that occasion, I mean America.
NATO...
Would you like to answer that question? And you don't know NATO policy, Darren. NATO policy was stated by a general, a 4-star American general, about 3,000 times whilst he was the general. And as soon as he retired from that position, he said, I've been lying all these years, we would contemplate a first strike if it was tactically sensible. Now, NATO say that is not their case. America say that is not their case. And when the man was the nominated and designated official, he said that was not the case. But he very quickly changed his mind when he left. So would you like to just consider the scenario I've just described to you? I will describe it once again for your benefit. And that is, do you think that America should have the power to send Britain into a nuclear conflict without Britain having a say in it?
No.
Well, that is what exists. That is what exists. Darren, that is what exists at the moment, Darren. America has the ability to send this country to war. Imagine if America felt that Russia was about to launch a nuclear attack against America. Its resort would be to send nuclear weapons from our territory, from Holland, from Belgium when theirs are operational, and indeed from Germany when theirs are operational, and no doubt from Spain now they've joined NATO. But America wouldn't send any. No, they would leave us, as they've done before, to take the rap.
Yeah, but,
You see, Darren, Trident, Polaris as we have now, Trident as we're buying and making ourselves debtors for, is there for us to have an independent nuclear deterrent, correct?
Yes.
The idea of that is that no one will launch an attack against us because we can retaliate, correct?
Yes.
And providing we don't use our nuclear deterrent first, we can argue that we probably won't get attacked, correct?
Yes.
And what we've done is we're spending literally thousands of millions of pounds buying a deterrent that is rendered useless by the existence of crews in somebody else's power. Because we can stop ourselves going into a nuclear weapon, into a nuclear war with our nuclear weapons, if you actually believe that equation. We can say, well, we're not going to use Trident or Polaris, depending on the time of year. We're not going to use Polaris or Trident. We'll leave the Russians to launch the first attack. Well, they're not going to. So what happens? Hot and diggity, gobface Reagan pushes a button, and we're in a nuclear war. Our Trident hasn't worked. The very existence of cruise missiles negates the power, if it has any at all, which I doubt, but negates the power of Trident. Do you agree, Darren?
Yes, but why...
I'm glad you agree, Darren.
...to press a button to launch...
Because he's a warmongering gobhead. Because if a conventional attack was launched against Europe, he might think it was better to try to stop it with a small-scale nuclear attack, a demonstration, rather like the one they did in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The one thing you must always remember, Darren, that nuclear weapons have been used twice in anger, and on both occasions it was by the Americans.
And
both
Hiroshima
occasions.
And Nagasaki, if those weapons hadn't have been fired, the American and British soldiers would have been just slaughtered because the Japanese fighters.
Darren, allow me to say to you that until about 3 years ago, I could not have sensibly and statistically argued against that. But documents recently released inform us, without any shadow of a doubt, that at the time those weapons were launched, the Japanese were suing for peace. Check your facts, Darren. You've lost. I'll do to nobody. We're going to have a break.
Calling all hoteliers, restaurants and guest houses.
Hello, Alan. Do you realise what a very powerful position you're in for leading a revolution in this country?
Well, not of the country, but I could perhaps get a skirmish going in Lancashire, yeah.
Well, we'd all be behind you. I think it's the best thing that could happen in this country at the moment.
What, a revolution?
Yes.
Why?
Well, don't you think the imbalance of wealth is obscene?
Yes, but I don't think it'd change by spilling blood.
Well, not necessarily spilling blood.
It's a bit
but
difficult
you know
not
that
to.
98% of people in this country work to keep 2% in obscene wealth.
Yes, but that's not absolutely a damning statistic, because a lot of the 98% make tremendous wealth also. So I think the statistic that you're groping for is that 86% of the population own, 7% of the population own 86% of the, what should we say, property.
Don't you think that's unacceptable?
I think it is unacceptable, but what sort of a revolution were you suggesting, Fiona?
Well, I don't know. You're going to lead it.
Well, I'm not going to lead it, you see. You're the one that wants it. You asked me whether I was aware that I was in a good position to do so.
Well,
the answer was yes.
I listened to these phone calls from the poor people of Liverpool.
Well, they're not that poor if they've got a phone and they can afford to spend 20 minutes waiting for me.
Absolutely, some of the problems.
Some of they are, yes, but the phone calls that phone me, the people that phone me are not that poor. They've got telephones, they've got the time and the money to sit on the telephone and wait.
Well, it makes you wonder just how long it can go on like this, doesn't it?
I think it can go on for another couple of centuries yet.
You do?
Absolutely.
Well, I think the British working man is a fool to himself, always has been. And so downtrodden, it's unbelievable that they can have so much patience and be treated in this way.
Well, Fiona, I'm a British working man.
Well,
quite
you're
honestly.
in a special position, aren't you?
Well, okay, but I'm not downtrodden. My father was a British working man. He was a labourer.
So was mine.
I don't think I'd call him downtrodden.
Oh, yes. Downtrodden, definitely. My father was a miner. He worked 50 years in the mine. He was downtrodden. Definitely downtrodden. And I think it's the best thing that could happen in England today. Every day when I read the paper, it sickens me, absolutely sickens me, of the obscene wealth and the goings-on of the upper classes, who are in a minority, let's face it.
They are in a minority.
Workers of
well,
the
just a
world
second,
unite,
Fiona, what sort of a system would you like to supplant in
Workers of the world
Yes,
unite,
indeed. What would you
Alan.
like to supplant
Well,
British
not communism,
society with?
if that's what you're getting me to
Well, no,
say.
I'm not getting you to say anything. What would you like to supplant?
Well,
Give me a system
I
that is
don't know,
superior
but
to...
I'm sure anything would be better than this.
Well, you see, if we have a revolution just because we feel like having a revolution, we're not going to get anywhere, are we?
Well, France are doing all right, aren't they? And they had a revolution.
That's a matter of point of view. I don't think the French people are any more or less downtrodden than the British working people.
They were. They were terribly downtrodden until they did something about it.
Indeed, they were in a disgraceful state, but
Yes.
I don't think they were in anything like the state we are now in. I mean, I know for a fact that very few of the people that took part in the French Revolution lived in their own home, indeed lived in council-supplied property. I doubt that many of them had transport. In those days it would have required to have been a horse, of course, but I doubt that many of them had it. They certainly did not have the mass communication and the leisure activities that we've got.
Well, it all started, the French Revolution, with the price of bread, if you remember.
Indeed, let them eat cake. We've all heard the story.
Yes.
But what I'm saying to you is the reason the price of bread was such a dramatic, or had such a dramatic effect on the French people, was because they were actually starving anyway. Now, Fiona, we are not starving.
Well, that's a matter of opinion, from what I
No, it's not.
hear
It's a matter of
and see
record.
around me.
It's a matter of record. How many people do you know of that have starved to death recently?
Well, You just got to read the RSPCC reports, haven't you?
By that I think you mean the NSPCC.
NSPCC.
And that isn't a result of hunger, that's a result of poorly organised parents, malicious parents, call it what you like, but it isn't a result of there just not being enough food to go round, Fiona.
You see cases in the paper most days of young mothers having to steal food to feed the children.
No, you see cases every day of mothers who do feed their children by stealing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that is the only way they could have fed them. Now, I'm not condemning those mothers, not by any stretch of the imagination. They need a lot of help, and that help is actually available.
Do you think so?
I know so. I used to work for one of the organisations that supplied that help. In terms of understanding the benefit system, understanding money management within a family. So I'm sorry, Fiona. I don't think we're ripe for revolution. But never mind.
Well, according to the graffiti, we are.
If we're going to believe graffiti, Kilroy's been here too. Good night, Fiona. How do, Edgar?
Hey, hello, Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a problem. I wonder if you could help me.
No idea, Edgar.
Today, my daughter, while I was at work, got attacked in the back garden by my neighbour's cats, and he scratched her. So when I came home from work, I went over to my next door neighbours. My wife told me what the cats were like. So the cats that looked like what she told me, I'd done them in with a shovel. And now, my next door neighbour says she's going to get the police onto me.
Good. How do, Eric?
Hello, you cut me off the other day.
So, I'll cut you off now. You don't have to come on and tell me I cut you off. How do, Julie?
Hello, Alan. There's a girl on about half an hour ago talking about underage sex.
Yes?
I think she's right, really, because they're giving the pill out to people under 16, and yet the legal age is 16, so why have an age limit?
Well, first of all, the age limit is there to protect young girls.
Yeah.
However, when the legislation fails to protect, we have to go to a second course of protection, as it were, a second avenue. And that second avenue is to say, well, if they are going to engage in this dangerous practice, then at least let us try to protect them from the consequences. It's rather like if you don't want your child to have a motorcycle, then fine. If he says, or she says, well, I'm done with having one and that's all there is to it, then the least you can do is say, well, all right, will you please wear leathers, proper boots and a crash helmet?
Well, the doctors are sort of breaking the law, really, aren't they?
The doctors are not breaking the law, let us be fair about this. A lot of legal decisions have been made recently that say they are not breaking the law. Because there are a number of reasons why they're not. One, just because you take the pill doesn't mean you're having it off with somebody. Two, it is often the case, though not a million times a day, it is often the case that the pill is prescribed for entirely different reasons than the straightforward reason of contraception. The pill serves also to regulate the menstrual cycle, which sometimes needs help. So it's prescribed for other reasons. But a doctor's job is to concern him or herself with the moral and, not the moral, but the physical and mental welfare of his patient. That's his first and foremost responsibility. And if he knows his patient is occupied in a difficult and dangerous position, be that at leisure or be it at work, then he has to do his utmost to protect that patient.
Okay, Alan.
All right? Ta-ra, Julie. Hello, David.
Hello, Alan. I'm from Liverpool, and you've just been having a conversation with a lad about nuclear deterrence. Well, I used to be in the services, right?
I don't know whether it's right or not.
Well, I just thought, you cut me off because I'm from Liverpool.
No, I won't cut you off for being from Liverpool.
I used to be in the Navy.
Yes.
On the submarines. Right? Now, a submarine carries an independent nuclear weapon. Independent by means of it's independent of the government. The only person who has authorization to release one of the nuclear weapons is the captain of the submarine once he believes that war has broken out.
David, I've got to stop you for a number of reasons now.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question first of all.
Yes.
What rank did you hold in the Navy?
Me? Artificer engineer.
Artificer engineer?
Yeah.
How do you know what you've just told me?
Because
don't repeat it. Just tell me how you know.
It's standing orders.
Indeed.
Everybody knows it. It's publicised in papers.
Go on.
It's publicised in papers.
Now, first of all, you're actually correct in one respect and wrong in another.
Correct in what respect and wrong in what?
The physical decision or the physical job of firing the missile obviously lies entirely with the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
But the motivation for that decision requires an instruction elsewhere, from a superior authority.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, what you don't seem to be grasping is, once a nuclear war breaks out...
Indeed.
You know, the northwest of England will get one clobbering and a half.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that at all.
Because of Burton Wood, so forth and all that.
Yes, it's because of all sorts of reasons.
Now, because of nuclear fallout and all that, which happens...
David, can we confine ourselves to the submarine?
Yeah,
we don't need yet to worry about Burton Wood. They don't keep many submarines at Burton Wood for reasons that are too obvious to explain.
Yeah, this is what... Go on.
What I'm trying to find out from you, or trying to get you to consider, is when you say that the captain would have the power, and by that I mean the political power, the correct power, rather than just saying, hey, let's start a war, he would not have that power until given instructions from elsewhere.
Well, now, that's what I'm trying to say is...
Go on.
He has sole independent... He is independent of the government, because... What happens is, when a nuclear bomb goes off, it causes static radiation.
No, let us not worry about... David,
no, that's what I'm trying to grasp.
No, just a moment. What I want to ask you, David, is are you talking about first strike power or retaliation?
Both. Well, no.
Well, you can't talk...
Power.
I mean,
retaliation.
Fine, then I accept your point of view. The thing you said, David, was a little open-ended, and you seem to give the impression that a naval captain would decide whether Britain went into war or not. That is not the answer. He would have that power, and rightly so. If we are going to fight a war, we must give the platoon or the flotilla or whatever captain, whatever branch of the service we're in, the right to make on-the-spot military decisions. I accept what you're saying. It is not in doubt any longer. But he doesn't have the power for first strike.
Yeah, now also the other thing is, there was some lad called Darren on. I haven't got a clue what his second name is or what he was on about.
No, we don't have second names, that's right. Carry on.
Well, he also mentions about Greenham Common. Now, Greenham Common, as people know, it's only a dispersal area. And they also have a warning, so once they know, like, Russian nuclear weapons or Eastern Bloc country weapons are on the way, they just clear out, you know, because they are mobile. Now, the thing is, no American nuclear weapon in this country can be fired without the authorization of the Commander-in-Chief of the forces, which in that case would be, a general.
The Commander-in-Chief. The Commander-in-Chief is actually the Prime Minister in reality.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, but it's not actually referred to, because once, a war breaks out, it'll be a tactical war for the first few days in Europe.